welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. And in today's video, we are going to be discussing Barcelona's schedule over the next month or so. It is going to be an absolutely massive period for us. We've got some really difficult games. It is going to be tough. We're going to need to rotate. There's a lot of diverse opponents in our way. How are we going to navigate our way around that? What can we expect? All of that coming up today in this video, because sit back, relax, it is going to be a roller coaster ride. Because in summary, guys, starting on Wednesday in February, we've already played one game against Valencia, and that was tough enough as it was. Barcelona will be playing 7 matches in the next 26 days, which works out as a game every 3.7 days. We are going to be going over the full month of February and also the very start of March. And when you're playing that frequently and in matches of the kind of intensity that we're going to talk about, you need to use your full squad. You've got to do that. It's as simple as that. You have to rotate. You've got to rely on some of your squad players to come in and give you that lift, because you cannot use the same 11, 12, even 13 players right throughout that period. If you continue to use those game in, game out, you're going to burn them out. And you're going to burn them out just as we start to get to the vital stage of the season, March, April. And with the Champions League in mind, we know that is not an option. But just like we saw against Valencia yesterday on Saturday, a difficult game, we made some rotations. It didn't exactly work out from Valverde, and neither did the subs. It's about rotating the right players at the right time. That's where Valverde's going to earn his money over the next month or so. We are going to be seeing if he can do that. You've got to get those decisions absolutely right. So we're better to start than the 6th of February, Wednesday at 9 PM local time. It's Barcelona against Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey semi-final first leg at the Camp Nou. And look, any Clasico, whether it be the Champions League, in the League, in the Copa del Rey, or I'd go as far to say, even in pre-season, you want to win it. El Clasico comes around, you want to win. No question about that. When it comes to Real Madrid, we don't want to give them anything. Not for a single second do we want them having the bragging rights. And in a cup semi-final, with the first leg here at home, hopefully there's a good crowd at the Camp Nou, we want to get ourselves in the very best position here from this first leg. Get yourselves a good advantage, simply because further down the line, as we're going to come on to, when you come around to that second leg, you want to be able to rotate just a small bit, so make sure you do your job in that first leg. Do not, under any circumstances whatsoever, give yourself a kind of mountain to climb, because if we don't win this game at the Camp Nou, we don't want to be really exerting ourselves later on in this month to try and claw it back. Win this game, do it as well as you possibly can, and with Valverde's rotations against Valencia, he is under pressure right now to win this game. He's prioritised it, and when you do that, you've got to follow up with a victory, and we have to do that here against Real Madrid. But just in case you think we've got it bad, the game after this one for Real Madrid is none other than the Madrid derby. They face Atlético Madrid at the Wanda Metropolitano just 3 days after this game against us at the Camp Nou. Whereas for us, 4 days later, Sunday the 10th of February at 8:45 local time, Athletic Bilbao against Barcelona. And likewise with this one, it's a tough game. It really is a tough opponent in a tough stadium, and we're going to need all the help we can get to get the 3 points here. But when you're talking about rest, when you're talking about recovery, we have got here one extra day, because we face Athletic on Sunday, which I think is very, very different to playing on Saturday, because you saw it against Valencia. We played Sevilla in midweek on that Wednesday, we put everything into that game, and then we played Valencia at 6:30 on a Saturday evening. That didn't really suit us. This game, though, is on the Sunday night. That is an extra day and a bit there for those players to just have a bit more recovery and just get their energy back, because we are going to need it against Athletic, because it's always tough. When you go to Bilbao, form goes out the window. They're a really difficult team to go and play, to come up against. We always struggle against them in that kind of stadium in terms of our performance. We can get the results, but it's always difficult in terms of performance. It'll be a hostile atmosphere at the new San Mamés, and more importantly, we will be without the services of Jordi Alba altogether, not just for 45 minutes like against Valencia. He will be out of the team, he's suspended for this one, and we're going to have to dig seriously deep to get the 3 points here. Up next for us, 16th of February at 8:45 local time again, Barça against Real Valladolid at the Camp Nou. And when you look at the fixtures we've got coming up, this game is screaming at you, isn't it? You're thinking, Valladolid at home, this is the game, full on rotate, especially given it's before our first leg tie against Lyon just a few days later. But at the same time, even this one is nowhere near a certainty. Valladolid are currently mid-table in La Liga, they're 13th as it stands right now, and let's not forget the reverse fixture earlier on in the season. Valladolid were inches away from taking points off us. If it wasn't for VAR, they would have done so, and who could forget that dreadful, dreadful pitch. And especially after having 6 days rest prior to this game, the players would have had a lot of chance to recover and really recuperate. I don't actually think that we're going to see here major rotation from Valverde. I think we should see a few changes here and there. Do not, whatever you do, play your strongest team just days before Lyon, but at the same time, don't go too crazy, because we want to be strong, we want to hit top gear, get that form, that confidence, and that momentum, and then head to Lyon, ready to go. Because on Tuesday, the 19th of February at 9 PM local time, it's the big one. The Champions League returns with us facing Lyon in the last 16 stage first leg. Lyon against Barcelona in what will be here against Lyon, the first of 4 tough successive away games that really are going to test us and our full squad to its maximum. But look, this is the Champions League. This is the one that we've been waiting for. We'll be expecting our best possible team in the best possible condition coming into this game, ready to give us, once again, the best advantage possible. Just like with the Copa del Rey, do what you can in the first leg to make your life easier when it comes around to the second leg, which isn't until the 13th of March. So quite a big gap there between the first and second legs. And I think in this game, you've got to really look to put in that convincing away performance. That'll do us the world of good if we can go and do that, because that's something we haven't really seen right throughout this season so far. And I have to say, when you look at this Lyon game, I'm really confident. I really, really am, simply because the players want this, especially when you look at Messi. He desperately, desperately wants the Champions League this season. I think we're determined to succeed in this competition. We're going to see that on the pitch, and I'm guaranteeing you we're going to see our A game. And a very nice 5 days later, on Sunday the 24th of February, it's Sevilla against Barcelona, and this on paper you would say looks like an incredibly tough game, simply because we know firsthand how difficult it is to go to Sevilla and get a result. We've seen that already this season. In the Copa del Rey, we fell to a 2-0 defeat, and even more so, given that you'd think we would have put everything into that Champions League game in midweek. But hear me out here, because it's very important to bear in mind that Sevilla themselves are involved in European competitions. They're going to be facing Lazio at home in the Europa League on the Thursday before this game. That means we're actually going to have 2 days extra rest on Sevilla. We're going to have 2 more days to recover, to really get over that game, and then be ready for this game at the weekend. I think Sevilla, they're really going to be going for the Europa League. You know they like that competition. I think that could just swing the momentum just in our direction, which could be vital. And then on Wednesday, the 27th of February, it's the return leg. Barcelona against Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu. The second leg is here. And as we spoke about, really important coming into this game that we've got a solid advantage from the first leg. And that is why that first leg coming up in just a few days' time, that is so, so important for us and our entire month, really. Because in a perfect world, you'd want to go into this game and maybe even make a few rotations here and there. The more the better, really. Simply because just a few days after this one, as we all know, it's another Clasico in the league, which could have even more importance for us. So certainly, in an ideal world, you'd want to beat Real Madrid in the Cup, get that advantage in the first leg, knock them out of the Copa del Rey, get through to the final, and then you head to the Bernabeu once again, just a few days later, in the league, and you try and continue that run against our bitter rivals. Because on Saturday, the 2nd of March, 8:45 PM local time, Real Madrid against Barcelona, live from the Santiago Bernabeu in La Liga, where we'll be aiming to do a league double over Real Madrid, and we'll be looking to just follow up on that 5-1 demolition at the Camp Nou that we did earlier on this season. And I think really, coming into these games, we've got to be confident. Valverde has to be ruthless. We've got good gaps in between games. They fall quite nicely for us. And even though, on the face of it, when you look at those names, when you look at the teams that we come up against, it does look tough. If you break it down, if you look at when we play, if you look at the rest we have, providing that we make the right decisions, I think this month we could actually get through through nicely. And just quickly, guys, before the end of the video, I want to show you this, because obviously it looks there like a very daunting period in the league for us, but if you look at the average league position of our next 4 opponents in line with Atletico and Real Madrid, you can see here we don't actually have the worst run in the league. Obviously you've got cup games, obviously you've got Champions League, but all of us have. Real Madrid have got a tough game against Ajax in the Champions League. Atletico don't have to worry about the Copa, but they do have very, very difficult games against Juventus in the Champions League. And Atletico Madrid here technically have the best fixtures. Real Madrid, of course, Rayo Vallecano, Villarreal and Sociedad. Their opponents are about 12th right now in La Liga. Real Madrid, though, have the difficult games. They've got Atletico, Girona, Levante, and then they face us, top of the league. And our opponents, on paper, are slightly worse than Real's are. So overall, it's going to be tough, but at the end of the day, it's never going to be easy. If you want to win a league title, if you want to win the Champions League, you've got to work for it. You've got to put in the hard work, you've got to make the right decisions, you've got to have a coach there who can really shape his squad and make the right choices, and of course, in the end, it's down to the players. Do their job, perform like we know they can, handle that pressure, and I'm absolutely sure that we can do something very, very special. So as always, guys, please leave your full thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of our schedule? How do you think we should approach this? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, starting tomorrow, it's El Clasico build-up. I can't wait. But until then, guys, as always, Visca El Barça!